Hey, it's early. We are heading out the door today on a little road trip adventure, me and Longclaw. We're going to be going to Lake Island to explore Tillicum Village. Longclaw's got some artwork there that he's going to be bringing home, and so even though the village is closed, we got a little special access today, so we're jumping on it this morning, and we are headed out to the island to check it out. Good morning.
Good morning.
Ready to go?
We are good to go.
Perfect timing with the motorcycle. All right, so we're waiting for the boat, and Longclaw has a special gift for our guide, our state park
Ranger. This is a buffalo bone blade and a coyote jaw, and then brain tanned leather. And as a tool, it's obviously not very sharp at this point, but you can bring it to a real edge with a whetstone. And I made this after an actual museum specimen.
So this is for the ranger today?
Yeah, I made this as a little thank you gift for our park ranger and taking the time to take us out to Tillicum Village and retrieve all the paintings and murals I did back in 1990-91, some 30 plus years ago, which doesn't seem real that many years have gone by. But just a little thank you gift.
Cool.
Something to remember the day by.
Nice. And we will be going out to Tillicum Village here to retrieve a bunch of your artwork.
Yeah, way back then. Yeah.
That will be cool. And maybe we'll check out Tillicum Village a little bit and learn a little bit about the village out there.
Yeah. The area was reconstructed in the Coast Salish architecture of the Puget Sound people. And the stage is built in a northern style longhouse. As you'll see, the beams again are 3-4 feet across, stretching I don't know how many feet, but the architecture styles are extremely different. But they really took their time to recreate an authentic longhouse scenario for people to sit in while they were watching the performance, and the smoked salmon cooked over all the wood fires. I mean, it was just a magical time.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing it. I never been out there, so hopping on the boat, getting ready to go. I'm going to be annoying and be doing lots of videos because
knowing that all of the masks were done and had been used for literally years upon years, long before Argosy took it over financially from Mark. He would eventually ran the thing into so much debt. Argosy, as I understand it, just said, give us the keys, we'll call it even.
Yeah.
And then once COVID kicked in and shut everything down, the final death nail. But if you like salmon, I mean, that's going to the coals and the fires. He's going to
the stage end of the building is pretty much rotten.
Oh wow!
So there's quite a bit of infrastructure that needs to be repaired.
we've landed, and Longclaw, any memories coming back to you?
Oh, well, thinking over 30 years ago, when Tillicum Village was in its glory and its prime, we'd have anywhere from 500 to 3,000 people a day come out to the island to feast on clams and the most delicious salmon they'd ever had anywhere, cooked over the old traditional older wood fires. But there would be several people greeting you here as they came off the boats in the button robe regalia, served with clams, and up the pathway that would just be white with hundreds of thousands of broken up clam shells, which was a tradition as you go into the lodge. And the poles, tell quite a history. And Joe David did the Thunderbird with the lightning snakes before you go into the lodge, and this also is another pole that he did many years ago. But this was all done for the 1962 World's Fair, and back in that time they had actual military landing crafts that would barge people out here and drop the big front of the boats onto the beach, and people would walk ashore. But a lot of history here. As I remember, at least the one on the very back wall before you go back to the garden, I think second day, but for today the portable ones are either 6x8 or 8x8 that are cut in half and then hinged, so you could, even after all these years.
Oh, you're talking?
Yeah, these were
kind of the little divots in there.
All the different little, by the D-ads.
Every plank hand carved. Wow.
Yeah.
I went and turned on all the lights.
Okay. Hey.
All the light switches I can find anyway.
Wow. This used to be up in the dining hall.
There's actually still one up there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow.
So I'm not sure where that one.
This would be where the crew would come in to get ready for the dances and the performances. Oh yeah, here's one mural right here. This might be the wolf. The wear on it. Yep,
Okay.
This is the wolf. Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Yeah, we didn't even think to open that last time.
We were just going through doing our stuff and ran out. Oh, prime cedar. Oh my gosh, Alderwood. Boy, if that ever caught fire, that would go up in a heartbeat because it's been sitting
Oh, wow.
outside for decades. Oh, the salmon sticks. Oh, I'd love to get a couple of these.
He's here?
Yeah. So you put the salmon in between these, and then crossbars.
I've
to
seen
hold
the
salmon
pictures,
in
yeah.
place into the dirt,
Okay.
leaned over the fire.
And that's the pit where they would
Yeah.
cook them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Love to get a couple of these. Yeah. This is where the
Gift shop.
well, what's left of this is where the museum box stuff would be. This is where Elmer Thompson and Alex Joseph would be sitting down carving, and all sorts of stuff going on. Preserving the Northwest Coast Indian tradition, established 1962.
Hello, and welcome to Of Cedar and Salmon, the podcast where we explore ancient Pacific Northwest Native American legends, history, myth, art, culture, and so much more. I'm your host, Chris Young, as usual, and joining me, as always, is our resident historian and story master, Longclaw. Hello, sir. And today, it's a pretty exciting episode. We are doing something totally out of the ordinary. We're doing an on-site recording. We've got cameras set up at Tillicum Village, and we've got a couple guests, which is amazing. And so before we jump into the discussion of the village, I think let's start with our guests. If you guys want to tell us who you are, what you do, and a little bit about yourselves. So.
You bet. My name is Kinnan Murray. I'm the area manager for the Kitsap area parks. Blake Island is one of the parks in my management area, and Tillicum Village is obviously on Blake Island. I've been with state parks for 21 years, all as a park ranger, and looking forward to the discussion today.
Awesome. Kinnan, thanks for joining us.
Awesome. My name's Cameron Spencer, and I am the NAGPRA Program Manager for Washington State Parks. And I've been with Parks coming up on 3 years in October, and I'm just really appreciative that we're able to get you guys out here today and help you return some good things.
Yeah, it's exciting. And I mean, when Longclaw came to me and he mentioned, oh, I can go out to Tillicum and we can get some of this. I mean, I jumped on it immediately. I was like, oh yes, let's go. Let's do this. Cause I've never been here. I mean, kind of to my own shame, I grew up in the area and, I never got a chance to come out here when it was, alive and when everything was happening. So to come out here now doing the podcast just was a no brainer. Longclaw, on that note, I guess, why are we out here? What brings us out here today?
Well, Tillicum Village started back for the 1962 World's Fair, and Bill Hewitt and his family got permission and the funds to build authentic replicas of native architecture longhouses and open for the World's Fair. And back then, they had military barges that would bring people out. The landing craft would lower their front and people would come out. And behind us are the cooking pits. The best salmon I've ever had in my life, cooked over alder wood fires. And then the dance presentation of dances from a variety of families, both here in Washington and from Vancouver Island, BC, Canada. And so it was a great place for people who had no exposure to native cultures on any level, could come out and see people carving, native people dancing, the architecture of how the longhouses were built in the styles that they were. So it's got a long, long history that unfolded over the course of the years.
Yeah.
And somewhere in early 1990, I was approached as an educator with what I do to come out and help Rob Stauffer bring the dances back to an authentic format. And so I spent a few years out here with my family carving and painting and helping to work with the younger people in the dance groups and the native families with everything else going on out here to help practice the dances and the art forms and button robes and masks and headdresses to give the public or the people coming out an authentic presentation of something that they would never be able to see on their own.
Right. And then, I mean, one thing led to another. You were here for a while. I know the
about
village,
3 years.
The village itself kind of changed hands over the years.
Bill Hewitt officially retired in 1992, 91 into 1992, and gave it to his son, Mark Hewitt. And somewhere in the course of Mark's management style, no right or wrong to it, but he ended up signing a contract to give the stage dancing presentation, that part of the business, to Thompson Production out of Las Vegas, Nevada.
Right. And we've talked about that.
That did not go over too well.
The effect that had.
And things kind of went up and downhill for years and years after that. But eventually things changed. The economy changed. Seattle waterfront had the demolition of the viaduct. They had the homeless encampment problems and issues, the waterfront construction itself, and then COVID hit, shutting down all the restaurants completely, and that was the final death nail. And somewhere early on into the COVID set of circumstances, Tillicum Village just had to go belly up. There was no option.
Yeah. And so that leads us to today. We're back here on the island. We were invited, I think, was Cameron reached out to you and invited us to come here on the island to reclaim some of your artwork that has been here since
the Argosy, the Argosy boat people that still have wonderful tours around Puget Sound, the waterfront, and so forth. Argosy boat, they brought the people out here to the island, and so I was approached by someone through Argosy about here's what's happened and here's what we're thinking. I've done a variety of art pieces for Tillicum Village, and we'd like to know what you want us to do with them. And well, if that conversation opens up, I'd like to get them back if I can. And I'm not sure how many years went by and didn't really think too much about it. And then finally somebody contacted me, and I think it was Cameron, who contacted me of, hey, if you're still interested, let's make this happen. And so here we are, 2025. And just going through the buildings and the lodges and reminiscing about a lot of the old people that are, of course, gone by now, but all the different experiences out here and the aroma of the fires going and the salmon and the history of learning a lot of things from Chief Edgar Charlie and Joseph Hilaire and his daughter, and just a variety of people that started this out way back in the early days, and how things changed over time.
Yeah. So I guess let's jump with Cameron. Where is the village currently, just in terms of what's happening with it and like what's going forward, the plan, I guess?
So I think Kenan may be able to talk a little bit more about that. My specific portion that I'm working on in this project is reaching out to the carvers, the artists, and linking them back up with their work, and making sure that they are able to access those and take them home if they want. If they want them decommissioned in a culturally appropriate way, then so be it. But giving them that access that potentially they haven't had since those pieces were, on the island and carved, that's my goal.
Yeah.
So that's my purpose here in this.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, the park's hope, right, is that we're able to reach out to these people like Longclaw who contributed and who were here, who made this part of a community, right? And
absolutely
preserve those pieces.
Yeah, no, definitely. And Longclaw's the first one that we're able to get out here.
The
I'm
first
very
person,
excited,
yeah.
First person. And just to hear him explain things about his time here at Tillicum Village and some things that we don't even know, from Parks perspective. So it's really good to have him out here, and hopefully with upcoming visits with other artists, we can just continue to learn about their perspectives and their time here on the island.
Yeah, what happened.
Yeah.
And it is cool. I mean, when we first got here earlier, just walking around, it was like opening up like a treasure chest in a way of just all this artwork and all of this history that happened here. I guess maybe we can talk a little bit about that. I'm sorry, Kenan. Okay. I feel like I didn't want to munch that one up. Yeah. So maybe if you want to walk us through some of the history of the island, of the park, of the village that you're familiar with.
I'm going to get dates and names all wrong, but
that's what Google's for. So
perfect.
We'll fact check you later.
My recollection is in the 50s. The island was owned privately, and that's when state parks took ownership. Tillicum was being built for World's Fair in '62, so that was one of the first partnerships, obviously, this property had. And ever since, beyond Tillicum, Blake Island's 450 plus acres, we're out here in the middle of Puget Sound, kind of halfway between Seattle and Bremerton. And the recreational opportunities right now are camping, hiking, and boating. And that the village had changed hands a couple of times, like Longclaw had mentioned, and in 2021 was mothballed by Argosy Cruises. They were the last holders of the concession. So this building is owned by state parks, and is then leased on a long-term basis to concessionaires. So in 2021, they walked away, and our staff, state parks, more or less just mothballed. So when you say opening a treasure chest, it really does. Yeah. It feels like that every time I come in here. It's like, well, what's behind that door? I just today found a set of keys that I was unaware that existed out here, but it's nice because it got me into a locked space that I previously couldn't get into.
And so you're finding more stuff, I'm sure.
Finding more stuff all the time. One of the challenges maintenance-wise with this building is the flat roof. So, our crew has to make sure that all the debris that falls off the trees that are all around here stay out of what is the gutters. We've walked around up on the roof in 6 inches of water before during pretty good rainstorms.
Yeah. Wow.
So, our hope is to just maintain it long enough for a decision to be made. And to that end, State Parks started a master planning project, not just for Tillicum, but for the whole island. We're looking at increasing access through a marina redesign. That's a standalone project. And then the rest of the master plan is revolving around other recreational opportunities. Like, is it appropriate for rental cabins to be on the island? And then this piece is a huge piece. It's over 20,000 square feet of building currently. And so what do we do with this? I think, COVID wasn't a great time to find another partner to open up. One of the challenges for any commercial endeavor is transportation. It's privately owned vessel or state vessel is the only way to get here currently. So that really limits the number of people that come out. So in addition to trying to decide what to do with the buildings, is try to figure out how to get more people here on a regular basis. So that's what we're looking at. Yeah.
What, and anybody who wants to jump in, do we know the history of Blake Island? Maybe we can start with that, and then the history of Tillicum. Was it traditionally tribal land? Was it associated with any of the local tribes at the before modern times?
Oh, yeah. Back when Seattle was not even Seattle yet, the local Suquamish and the Duwamish people of the area used the island for camps, fish runs, that kind of thing. But because there wasn't a lot on the island, it didn't really lend itself to support a village per se. And so they found the mainland and other areas and spots to build more permanent settlements or villages. Some were in the course, and I'd forgotten my history too, but there was a couple that bought the island and used it as a mink farm until the husband died. The widow then, as I understand it, sold it to the state for whatever the reason or cost was, and the remaining mink were just let go. And so the island has a variety of wildlife where mink are still a part of it. And my years here, that we were told that the mink like to live under the cabins out back of the buildings where my family and I and other families would stay for the summer's tourist season. And the mink were well known for coming up through the holes of the floor under the kitchen or bathroom sink.
Surprise.
And, that's a whole different set of stories. But I learned the hard way that mink are in the skunk family. I learned that one the hard way inside the cabin.
You had to open the windows for a few days, I imagine.
Whoa, the tip of the iceberg. But the point being is that the lodges that were built are beautifully, beautifully done in both the Salish architectural style of the Puget Sound people, and then the stage presentation area is built in the northern form of architecture, so the public can see a stark contrast in how the lodges were actually built. And throughout this building structure, incredibly hand-carved beams where you can see the D and the elbow adds, textures carved into the wood. It's just a rich, like looking back into history itself.
Right. And that is something I totally wanted to touch on, because, I mean, you look around this building, I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, there's hand-carved, poles, there's art. I mean, even the beams themselves are historically significant, or at least within the tradition of like the carving and the design, I understand.
Well, and it was a great time to interact with the people, as Alex Joseph and Rob Stauffer and myself and other carvers would be out here carving on a mask or a pole or something, so the public can actually see artisans at work at how these things were created, the tools that were used, also authentic. So it was a great time of interacting with the public on the what, the why, and the how come of traditions and history of the Puget Sound people.
Yeah. I mean, what were people's responses when they would come out here and see this? I mean, was it?
A lot of them were surprised in regard to the sophisticated technologies of the Puget Sound people, well, the coastal people in general, and the flamboyant art forms that they would see in the dancing presentations, from the button robes to the cedar bark hats. Everything was really a pleasant surprise and amazement, especially for the kids who got a chance to touch and handle the carvings and come up close to what was being done. But also the cultural awareness that this stuff in its origin had significance. And sadly, that began to deteriorate over the years, but that's just a part of being a tourist attraction.
Right. Kenan, I believe, did I hear you say that you were able to come out here when you were a kid? And
Yeah, so that was in 89 or something.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was a while ago. I think it still had that authenticness that it hadn't yet turned into Disneyland.
Oh.
And that it was definitely a tourist attraction, though. Even back then,
Right.
Hundreds of people from downtown Seattle being shipped out here.
Right.
Yeah, we came out on a private boat and kind of stumbled upon it. I think my folks knew about it, but they kept it from us. So it was a true surprise as we walked in the front doors. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Any memories that stick with you from that visit?
One in particular, after getting what I can't remember, but I imagine to be good food, although feeding it to a 10-year-old probably didn't do it justice. Yeah.
Did you like salmon at the time?
I did not.
No.
No. But I do now.
No.
But my recollection was some of the masks used in the dance and how the dancers interacted with the audience, and particularly the smacking of the beak or bill of the big bird masks and how that would echo through the auditorium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Longclaw, do you happen to know which mask that might have been?
Yeah, in fact, that's another list of controversies where what they call the big birds, between the raven, the hohok, and the crooked beak of heaven. Among the Kwakwala-speaking people, the Humsamala dance is the highest-ranking, most important and sacred dances of them all. And so the bittersweetness of that should never have been put into a public arena as it was here in Tillicum. But since it was, again, trying to work with the dancers and the other people out here, that if you're going to do it, pay attention to detail, do it correctly. And so the big birds, when Hohok was a good 6 feet long.
Wow.
And when that puppy snapped the beak, it deafened the dancer wearing this big thing.
Oh, geez, no kidding.
And so, but it was almost a competition as who got to dance with it because of the prestige of being the dancer known for doing it the best. So there was a lot of competition among the dancers as to who could do it longer and better than any other dancer. And if you were really, really good, you could have your arms and your hands out shaking as a sign of power and pull the strings with your mouth.
Really?
And snap the beak.
Wow.
Underneath this giant mask that you were wearing. And so there was a great sense of competition among the guys as to who could pull this off and do it better than everyone else.
Yeah. Do we know where those masks are, perchance? Or
Based on my research, I believe that they were auctioned off, unfortunately. So they probably went to private individuals somewhere out in the public, maybe a museum somewhere out there. Yeah. But yeah, unfortunately, they're not on the property anymore.
Right. Yeah. I mean, walking around, I didn't see any, but I was hopeful that there might have been something somewhere. Maybe someday. Longclaw, you've got a number of masks, I know, that you put together for the school programs or that you've done.
Yeah, in fact, with my school programs and such, getting a chance to produce masks for the programs, but also what I sometimes call my artifacts of masks that I've done that are added into the museum box collection, where the kids can pick up and handle and smack the beaks or move the eyelids or the wings and that kind of a thing. But again, there's a lot of cultural, as we've talked about on previous podcast episodes, where there's a real complex cultural context as to under what conditions these masks would be used. So back in that time of early Tillicum Village, Joseph Hilaire allowed us to use a canoe paddle dance and the Terrible Beast dance, the Slahul gambling dance, and I think there were maybe one or two other ones that came through the Hilaire family. And there were other native families of the Joseph family, the Charlie family, and there was one other one I can't think of offhand. So the songs and dances that originated here at Tillicum Village were originally done by Order of the Arrow Boy Scouts, where Bill Hewitt, his son, was a member of the Order of Arrow Boy Scouts, as was Rob Stauffer. And as time progressed, there were a number of observations that your dancers don't look kind of native Indian to us.
Your dancer's looking a little pale, sir.
The beards and the mustaches and so red, no, it just didn't fit. So they ended up going into Seattle and looking for local native families that were available and interested, cooking, cleaning the food, serving the food, interacting as dancers, storytellers, interacting with the public about their own culture, about Indian culture in general to begin with. And so back then it was seen as a great positive thing. It provided a lot of really good jobs, as well as educating some of the local native people as well. So for many, many years, it was really, it was quite something.
Yeah. What does it mean to be able to do that, to share, the culture and the history like that in a way that people come here and really immerse themselves?
For me, it was, wow. And it still has a potential of being a true cultural center of how things were done back in the ancient world, things that were done that still have great meaning and value and the cultural integrity. And that's one thing I really admire about these two gentlemen and the one sitting back here that, are gracious enough to give their time and their efforts to give as much respect to what was here and what still is here and what this place still represents. You don't find that in Disneyland. You don't find it at Not Very Farm, where this has not just entertainment value, but it goes far beyond that.
Right. Yeah, there's there's a history of commodification, right?
Living history. I mean,
this
isn't just a place. It's also what it represents. And because so much of it is still authentic in its architecture, the materials, how they were built, how they were assembled, it's incredible to step backward into history.
Yeah. Yeah. And speaking of that, I mean, would you oblige us and maybe just kind of talking us through the architecture, and how it's done, what it's made of, the materials?
Well, most of it's all Western red or yellow cedar, and the bigger beams were actually a part of the old growth forest here on the island before it was completely clear cut. And so trying to make use of all the local resources, but keep as much authenticity as possible. And as you pointed out, there are many of these beams that you can see the hand carving textures. I'm sure some of the bigger beams were commercially, or they brought out cross-cut saws and so forth, but then they were textured all by hand. Inside the dining hall, the Salish style architecture, you can definitely see the rough cut of all the planks that were all cut by hand, no machinery or power tools involved, that are just gorgeous, that I hadn't seen since I was a kid, days of my grandfather.
Yeah. As we sit here, reminiscing and admiring and revisiting this, what is your hope for the future of Tillicum Village?
Personally, if there were groups that could financially come alongside to restore the building, because a lot of it's just wear and tear and weathering of cedar over time. I would personally love to see it come back as a real cultural center of basket weaving, storytelling, carvers, painters of all the local native cultures, a dance presentation where groups could come out and showcase their uniqueness from one culture to the next,
right?
From selling their handmade arts and crafts, carvings, weavings, paintings. This could be a serious beehive of culture, and seriously in the backyard of the Duwamish and the Suquamish people. So the whole area is just rich in native history and culture, and this is just one unique place where it goes back 60 plus years. But I would love to see this actually come to life, and it still has a lot of potential to do that very thing. It's just a matter of for me, ensuring that there aren't too many cooks in the kitchen, and the politics of who's going to call the shots and why, who's in control, and any business or corporation is going to go through growing pains and so forth. So I'm not realistic in thinking it's going to be an easy task, but if those hurdles can be jumped over to ensure that this place has an authentic flavor and out of a bedrock of respect for the history, the cultures, the art forms, and to retain that high level of value.
Cameron, any thoughts?
Yeah, so I can slightly speak to that. I mean, we've been consulting 10 different tribes in the area and give them a platform to express their opinions or concerns or anything that they'd like to have addressed throughout the master plan. I believe is it Thursday or Friday? Next Thursday at the Ballard Library, there's going to be a public informational meeting to learn more about kind of the master planning project, some different options that State Parks is looking at, and just to hear from the public about, potentially what Tillicum Village meant to them, what they'd like to have seen done, those type of things. So, Kenan, if you have any other.
Yeah, I think for me, that this space should continue to be open to all. If it does go the route that was discussed, that it's still open to help interpret all of that and to give education to everybody, is what I would like to see. And the upkeep of a building like this is no small feat. So that's going to be the hardest part, is making sure that all of the players involved play nice, and we understand that it'll be a big lift to get this back to where we feel good about having groups of people out here.
Yeah. As somebody who's here for the first time, I certainly can attest to just the impression that it leaves on you when you come up on the boat and when you walk up to, not only the building, but there's the art outside, there's the poles, there's the setting, you can see the city, the water, the Puget Sound. It is a really impressive place. And when you start digging into the history of it and start learning about, the culture and the significance of it. Yeah, I echo that sentiment that I hope there will be a degree of preservation that can happen, and hopefully revitalization, I think, because it's a rare opportunity to be able to step into something like this and to experience it so tactfully, like just so hands-on.
Well, it's still, even just coming in a little while ago this morning, you can still you smell that smoky aroma from all the decades of the alderwood fires and the salmon cooking, and just that smoky residue in the air is still just like, it's just a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
But thinking now with Cedar and Salmon and the years of all the stuff that I've either made or acquired over the years, the pelt collection, the museum stuff, as you were talking, it just would be great. As I round the semi-retirement years, we've been talking about what happens now. Where's all this stuff going to go? Well, this is kind of like a hand-in-glove scenario of stuff that would quite literally fill up a school gymnasium with all the stuff, and for school groups to come out and have a full hands-on experience. The building and the ambiance of the island itself, just puts frosting on the cake. So I would really enjoy some conversations down the road, and I'll be at that meeting, of course, to see what potential things can be done. Because, it's going to be a big chunk of change to just financially bring this building back up to code to the point where groups can be allowed to come in and enjoy it, whether it's the bathroom, the kitchen, whatever it might be. So, but I'm excited to be a part of that hopeful potential.
Are you telling me that we're going to be back here in a couple of years hauling all those?
Well, actually, we're going to be back here next week to get the rest of the artwork, but yeah.
And then we're going to haul it all back on.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Somewhere, because again, I can't think of a lot of careers or jobs where there's a deep set, fulfilling sense of doing something that's unique and in regard to tribal tradition and culture, so that in the years to come you can look back and think of, my contribution in
Yeah.
helping this continue rather than being forgotten, as we've talked about in the other broadcasts. So for me, that would be just a great thing to end on a high note of knowing that everything I've been given, everything I've been taught has a lasting purpose, and now a physical location where countless other generations can come and enjoy the ambiance of the
Right.
buildings, the island, the clamshell pathways from the waterfront all the way up to the building. Just start to finish, this is just living history.
Yeah. Well, and like that moment you had with Chief Laluska, where maybe someday some other young person comes in here and is inspired, and it resonates with them and takes them down that path.
You never know where it's going to, the seeds have been planted.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Tillicum Village, a really special, unique, cool place, and one that I hope can continue to be celebrated and acknowledged and recognized for just the significance that it does have. So I think that'll do it for us today. Cameron, thank you guys so much for joining us for the conversation, the impromptu podcast that we slapped together here in front of the salmon pits. It really is great to have this opportunity to be out here and to check it out.
Stay tuned. We're going to teach you some dances.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Nice. Hey, thank you all so much again for joining. And thanks everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the episode, if you got some value from the episode, we hope you'll do us a favor and follow the podcast wherever you're listening. It helps the show and it keeps you in the loop. So I think that's it for us today. And we'll see you next time on Of Cedar and Salmon.